This is a 2008 Toyota RAV4. It has a 3.5 liter V6 engine and also is a four-wheel drive. And this car had problems with shaking at highway speed. And it's been kind of a lesson that there can be more than one thing wrong that causes the car to shake. So after replacing a number of parts, because this car was pretty beat up, replaced a number of parts, each one of which gave some improvement in the shaking. But we finally come to the conclusion that we need to replace the entire steering rack. This car has electrically assisted power steering, so the power steering motor is on the steering column. The steering rack itself has no incoming or outgoing power steering fluid. You're going to see exactly how we do it, and by the way, I'm going to include a link to this steering rack in the video description, so check it out if you need to replace yours. The first step of his job is get under the dash and remove the steering shaft, the column cover, and disconnect the steering shaft from the what they call the intermediate shaft that is mounted down onto the rack. Because I am not a fan of squeezing myself into tight little spaces, I've removed the seat and just moved it back. I don't have to remove it from the car. I just made myself a lot more room to work. You peel back the bottom rug and the cover has two plastic zip nuts, one on either side. And I think these are 12 millimeter. You don't even need a tool for these zip nuts. They just come off by hand. This cover comes right off once you remove the zip nuts. Now you're just looking at the bare shaft assembly, and there's that nut down at the bottom. And I'm pretty sure that's also 12 millimeter. Here is that nut from the bottom of the steering column, and that's the tool that I used for removing it. It's a ratcheting 12 millimeter. Now the plastic cover that goes outside the cabin, it has a little metal clamp at the bottom and another one at the top, and you can pop these loose with a screwdriver. So here I have popped the steering column intermediate shaft off of the lower shaft, and I've popped this cover off of the firewall. So now I'm ready to go lift up the car and go underneath. The car is jacked up, the wheels are going to come off, and after that the outer tie rods are going to be removed from the knuckle. But this is also a good time, before doing anything else, to loosen up the lock nuts for the outer tie rods. This nut here is what I'm talking about, and these can be loosened with a 7/8 open-end wrench. The tie rod end has a castle nut, which is usually 17 millimeter in the original, and it may be 18 millimeter if you have an aftermarket outer tie rod end. You also have a cotter pin that goes through that you have to pull out. When it comes to removing the outer tie rod, this ball joint remover is absolutely the way to go. And notice that I left the castle nut on the tip of the stud there so as to not mar the threads of the stud. Now the tie rods are out of the knuckle, and because I've already loosened that lock nut, I can just turn this and remove it. I count the turns so that when I put it back, I make the same number of turns. The steering rack is held down by a large bolt on either end, and it's a very long bolt that goes all the way through the cross member, and there's the end of the bolt right there. Okay, I've already put some penetrating oil on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unfasten this bottom nut using the impact wrench. This is a 19 millimeter bolt, and it should just come right off. And with the nut removed, this bolt comes right out, and all I have to do is do the same thing on the other side. this motor mount is going to have to be removed if we want to remove the rack, and it's the rear motor mount that sits on top of the cross member. So after I remove this bad boy, the motor mount, there's one more thing I have to remove, and it is this lower shaft. I take it off of the steering rack, and now the steering rack can come right out. Here is the old rack and the new rack side by side. They look pretty much the same. Now, the one thing I notice is that this new rack is nowhere even close to being centered. I have no idea why they shipped it like this. It seems really stupid. It should have been centered from the factory. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the shaft back on and try to center it as much as possible. So what I'm doing is, with this tape measure, I'm measuring from the end of the rack to the end of the tie rod. And I do that on both sides, try to make them equal. It all goes back in and gets back together pretty easily. Now I want to note that the torque for these big bolts that go through the steering rack, according to the shop manual, it's 102 foot-pounds. And the torque for these 12mm bolts that go through the intermediate shafts, upper and lower, there's two of them, they're both 26 foot-pounds. So here I got it all put back together, and it's ready for a trip to the alignment shop, because you would not dream of driving this car without an alignment after replacing the steering rack. Here's my alignment sheet, and you can see the before and after on the toe right here for both sides. So they were definitely out of spec after my installation, and they were brought back within spec. Now the alignment uncovered another thing, which is it's always more than one problem, right? And the problem is that the toe on the rear for both sides is badly out of spec, and because the toe arms from factory are not adjustable, you cannot adjust the toe. Now, why did this toe go out of spec? It's probably because of sagging or whatever. The car is just old. And what this means is we will have an upcoming video where we install aftermarket adjustable toe arms. And these are available for this car for just this precise reason. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and catch you in the next one.